Hello, and welcome to the IPPS-A Sustainment Webinar Series. In this webinar, we will review several frequently asked question topics that originated from current IPPS-A users. My name is Captain Marisha McLean, and I am your moderator and primary speaker. I work on the Training Sustainment team here at IPPS-A, and I am pleased to host this session today. Now let's begin. Listed are the 4 frequently asked question overarching topics that I will address today. For each topic, we will cover a few simplified FAQ themes by providing functional insight, troubleshooting steps, and best practices for each. This is an informational webinar. Our intent is that upon completion, you will have a better understanding of IPPS-A functionality considerations to keep in mind when completing IPPS-A transactions that fall under these topics, as well as the appropriate resources to use when you need help selecting options or troubleshooting. Before diving in, I want to orient you to this slide. This format is used for each topic. The blue section lists significant functionality considerations to keep in mind when doing transactions. The gray section lists a few simplified frequently asked question themes that came from submitted user questions. The green section lists recommended solutions, workarounds, and pending resolutions. The first topic of the day is Position Vacancy Report results. The Position Vacancy Report, also known as the PVR, is a report that is available within IPPS-A's ACT module. It is important to note that this report only displays positions that are vacant as of the date that the report is pulled. Other available strength and assignment management reports include the Assignment Detail Report, also known as the ADR, and the Human Resources Authorization Report, also known as the HRAR. Relative to the frequently asked question themes listed in the gray sections, users often go into ACT expecting to see a position listed as available, but when completing the assignment creation process, that position is not an option. Users should reference the PVR to determine whether the position is truly vacant when they come across this issue. To help with assignment management, the report was recently updated with the ability to see people with a pending assignment against a currently vacant position. Taking a deeper look into strength reporting aspects of this topic, the HRAR will eventually function as the unit manning report. However, we currently have defects open against the HRAR. Until those defects are fixed, we will all have to use the PVR and the ADR. To do this, you would open both the PVR and the ADR at the same time. You can then compare the results from both reports to have a pseudo UMR, which will show you all filled and unfilled positions. We've been asked in the past what types of defects are associated with the HRAR that are pending updates from this program. Some of those include authorization conflicts, such as a position is no longer active in AOS because a new document is now live, but soldiers that are assigned to those positions that are no longer active in AOS, those positions don't deactivate or become inactive in IPPS-A. So when this occurs, the new position on the new document appears as another authorization or a multiple of a current authorization in IPPS-A. So that's one of the defects or enhancements that is currently pending against the HRAR, to take that in consideration when it's pulling its data. The next topic is on mandatory fields for creating separation assignments, as well as common error messages that users are receiving. In Release 2, separation assignments are created in ACT using the termination and transfer action reason codes. It's important to know that these mandatory fields associated with the Assignment Details tab during the creation process are often dynamic. Because of logic that is built into the system, many of those fields will auto-populate with data. For those fields that do not auto-populate, we want users to keep in mind to go ahead and add the information. If it is a mandatory field, users are prompted to complete that field before the assignment creation process is complete. We have also received a few questions from users that have seen mandatory fields populate with information that they didn't expect, specifically concerning separation assignment start and end dates. Users must remember to curtail the current arrived assignment before creating the separation assignment. With the current logic, users cannot edit separation assignment dates during assignment creation in ACT. If you come across other fields that are auto-populated with unexpected data, reference the Army National Guard IPPS-A user guide. The user guide is available on the IPPS-A resources page under the Help menu and also located on GKO. The user guide is full of tables and reference examples that explain fields that require manual input, like current organization and assignment loss reason code. That guide will give you the exact reason or explain in detail why one selection option is more appropriate than another. If you run into errors after reviewing the Army National Guard IPPS-A user guide, feel free to submit a CRM ticket. Now let's review service dates. It's important to know that service dates are often pay and benefit impacting, so accuracy is key when making these types of changes. The main takeaway from this slide is to reference the Army National Guard user guide when trying to determine the best way to update a service date. The user guide has very specific examples and very specific instructions for how to update each type of service date within IPPS-A correctly. Our last topic of the day is on workflow. So workflow is a unique function in IPPS-A that allows a transaction to route from the initiator to the approver within the system. It's important to note that workflow defaults to the appropriate predefined S1 pool based on AOS-generated unit hierarchy. In addition, that hierarchy also influences row security class, also known as row set class. IPPS-A does not have logic that restricts users from receiving requests for approval. However, row security class will determine whether or not the person that receives that request can actually action on it. When a user receives a row set class error message, it is important to validate their unit department tree and hierarchy to make sure that it's correct. If the hierarchy is correct, the next step is to validate whether the workflow template that was selected was the correct workflow template for that type of action. Here's a summary highlighting a few of the major points from each of the topics that we discussed today. I would also like to take this time and ask for your feedback. Please take a moment to review the 4 questions that's listed on the screen, write down your responses, and send them to us to the IPPS-A mailbox. Thank you for tuning into this webinar. Please send questions and comments to the IPPS-A mailbox as listed on the screen. Please also visit our IPPS-A social media pages and subscribe to our YouTube channel for webinar postings, functional videos, and news from the IPPS-A team. Again, thank you for joining.